Hello and welcome. I am here to talk to you about associations of the Ogham. And we all know about the Celtic tree calendar and the tree oracle of the Ogham and the associations of each Ogham supposedly to a specific tree. Now, I do go into detail on the backstory there in our 3 Truths About Ogham free course at theirishpaganschool.com. So you can definitely go there and see why the Ogham is not just all about trees. But today I wanted to share some positives with you, some different associations. So we are going to Ogham Negus because my last video from that was successful and people said that they wanted more like this. So this is Ogham Negus, the Scholar's Primer, being the texts of the Ogham tract from the Book of Ballymote and the Yellow Book of Lecan, and the text of the Treifocal from the Book of Leinster. And this is George Calder's compilation and translation. So we're on page 289 of this, and this is freely available on the internet. I will put the link below. And there's some really interesting links below if you want to go and check them out underneath the video. And we do have an Ogham playlist as well. So if you want more like this, make sure that you like this video to show me that you love it. And the Facebook, no, not Facebook, the YouTube algorithm as well, to make sure that you get more of this kind of quality native Irish content about the Ogham. So you're not learning bullshit, because there's a lot of that around. So anyway, we're going to look at what I've been calling the pig Ogham, but it's actually the sow Ogham, the Riverpool Ogham, and the Fortress Ogham. So this comes after the Brehar Ogham. There's 2 Brehar Ohms recorded here, so Mac in Og and Brehar Ogham of Moore and MacMain. So they are recorded there, and just after that, it doesn't call them anything. So I just call them the associations. And it says this is Sow Ogham. And then it breaks it down then by the different groups or acme. So each acme plural and acme singular, each acme is broken down by its group, and then you obviously have the letters. So first off, group B is a white for B, for Beth. Grey, Lewis, is, and then black fern, amber, Sol, and blue, Nin. And then it goes through them. So group H is accompanying litter of a white, i.e. milch sow. Group M is the litter of a white sow. And group A is pig pen of a white sow. And then it includes some of the forfeta as well. So there are quite specific associations. And I'm not sure why these acme are broken up in this way, or I'm presuming it has something to do with pig farming that I don't do, so I'm not aware of. And the different groupings. So in the Riverpool Ogham, we have group B, Prius, I think is like the first one, to wit, Barrow B, Lower Shannon L, Foyle F, Shannon S, Nith N. Then group H, we have H, Ochen, Fahan, Jarg, D, Teth, D, T, rather, Koch, C, and Kusrat, Q. So these are obviously different river names, and group B would be the very well-known rivers around Ireland. But as you can see by this, each river name, and I'm just going to see, yeah. So in the Irish over here on the left-hand side, each river name it's different when you're looking at the English translations, but they obviously match, the associations match. So the first the first letter of the river name matches the letter of the Ogham. So Jarrick here in the second Acma is the door or dar. Chark here is Tinna. Or Tet is Tinna. Actually, there's two, it looks like. So there's two for tea, and yeah. So it goes on then, Winchin, Gavel, Grainy, Shruher, and the Rye. And those don't match again in English, but when we look at the Irish, it's Winchin for win, Gavel for gort, Ngrian for Nyetel, Strúr for strafe, and Rigi for Rus. So again, I can't really stress this enough, but when you're dealing with the Ogham, you really need to have a good Irish dictionary beside you. So I recommend the online dictionary of the Irish language for the Old Irish. And if you need to look up any modern Irish, if I'm translating anything into Ogham, I will always use the modern Irish because that is our living language. But if you're working with manuscript versions, you're often going to have to look up the Old Irish. So both of those are good resources. And I do cover this quite significantly in our courses, our full courses at the Irish Pagan School, if you do want to dig a little bit deeper. But, and then there's no forfeither in the Riverpool Ogham. So we just have group A, which is the vowels, the acme. For Alam is the Aru, and we have Eobal, Ushu, Airbus, Indaran. So those are so on is Eobul. So again, when I mentioned earlier about the primitive Irish sound values, and oh, I didn't mention that earlier. I mentioned that in a different video altogether. So you will find that in my video on who invented Ogham, which is on this playlist and on this channel. So go to the channel and search who invented Ogham and you will find that. But we do talk about primitive Irish and the sound values and how the Ogham came about. And again, these are all parts of a puzzle, which the Ogham unfortunately is still to us because our native wisdom on this was destroyed because colonialism, and both from the Christian church, the Catholic church specifically, and from the English oppressors. So there is a lot of lost knowledge, a lot of lost wisdom. And in my teaching, I do try and go back to the source material, but also keep it part, reintegrate it, regrow it, really is what I'm trying to do. Rather than restructure it or reconstruct it, I'm trying to regrow within our native soil, within our native environment, within our native culture. I'm trying to regrow an authentic relationship with the Ogham. So that's why I dig around in, well, they're not dusty, I suppose, because they're on screen. They would be dusty if they were in my hands, but dusty old books and manuscripts and primers, and then I give it to you so that you don't have to do you don't have to do quite the hard pathfinding work that I've had to do. But we'll just have a real quick look at the Fortress Ogham, and I really like this one because it relates to my favorite thing, which is sacred sites and forts around Ireland. And it's Din Ogham is the Irish version of it, and I'm presuming Din is a grammatical change from Dún, which is a fort, D-U-N or D-U father N. So it's the Fort Ogham. And group B is Brudin, Liffey, Femin, Sole, Nemhen. And group H is Hoche, Dinrig, Chever, which is Tara, Cere Quarren. And group M is me, which is Mead, Gobber, Norman, which is Wexford, down around Wexford somewhere. Strule, Rigney. And group A then for the vowels is AE Coolan. Not sure what that's a reference to, Coolan. And Ogba, Uisneach, which is one of the sacred centres of Ireland in County Westmeath. Evan, which would be Aon Macha, and Ilu or Islay. Now, I'm a little bit annoyed. I should have checked this before I started, but I don't see Cruachan on that list. So if that was me, I would be changing the Kera or Kere for Cruachan. If I was actually using those Ogham associations, that's where I would be putting that. And that's Rathcroghan in County Roscommon, for anybody who's not familiar. So these are interesting associations, and the reason that I'm sharing them with you, like I said, is to illustrate that the Ogham is not just about tree associations. There are tree associations in the Scholars Primer. More correctly, there are tree and plant associations, but there are also the Sow Ogham, the Riverpool Ogham, the Fort Ogham, and various other Ogham association lists. So if you'd like me to dig a little bit deeper into this, please, please, please put a comment below, let me know, and I will see what I can do. And obviously subscribe to the channel, and there will be more like this. Make sure that you're on the mailing list. Every October we do a lot of Ogham content on the Irish Pagan School mailing list or the Lora O'Brien mailing list. So those are actually both the same thing now. I've had to combine them because there's only one of me and I have to run both of them. So they are combined now, and we put out really good quality resources all year round. But make sure that you are on them around October if you are specifically interested in the Ogham. We do lots of great free content and some great paid content too. So you can go and check out any time of the year. You can go and check out the irishpaganschool.com for the 3 Truths About Ogham course, which is free, or the Introduction to Ogham course, which is a paid course, and the Ogham Divination course, which is also a paid course. And we do have plans for early 2021 for an Introduction to Oma class run by John O'Sullivan. John is working through the Tuatha Dé Danann, the gods of the Tuatha Dé Danann, and he's doing a series of classes. So there will be more to come like that in 2021. So Gura Maghwif, thank you very much for your time and your attention, and thank you for taking the time to connect to quality native source material, because that is how you will create an authentic practice with the Ogham. Please don't be listening to a lot of the frankly made up in a lot of ways, but the misinformation that is being passed around as Ogham teaching currently on the internet, here on YouTube, definitely in books and courses. And I'm not saying my way is the only way by any means, but and there are some non-Irish scholars who are definitely studying and have been studying the Ogham for a long time and whose work I really respect. But just be careful with your source material. When you're looking at something like the manuscript sources and figuring out your own practice from there, that is going to be your best way to authentically connect. And my job is to facilitate and guide you in that, not to show you the one true way or any of that crap, because there isn't one. Everybody has to form their own relationships. Okay, so slán go fóill, and I will see you in the next video.